Good morning, everyone. My name is Brad Powell. I am the Director for Technology, Media, and Academic Innovations here at the Knoll Studio in the Faculty Center for Teaching and Learning. Today, we are talking about an exciting one for me, Quizizz. This is something I've been using in the last year. It's a pretty interesting little platform. So I have a little presentation put together for it just to kind of showcase how it works and how to work it. I'm going to do a little preview here. So this is on Quizizz. The hardest thing about it is figuring out how to spell it, because I have went back and forth so many times on just verifying that the two Z's at the beginning or at the end, but it is two Z's at the end, confusingly enough. So what is it? It's an online learning platform. The keyword is gamify. So if you've used any application like Kahoot or the Jackbox games, it's very similar to that. You can do presentations like this one, or you can create quizzes or surveys or assignments. It does all that stuff for you in a way that's attractive, interactive, and more engaging for students. So like this presentation itself, you could follow along on your tablet, you're on your phone. You don't have to be looking at a presentation screen. If it's asynchronous, it has its own built-in display for you. So why would we use it? Well, the biggest reason, it's free. It's very easy to use for both you and your students, and all the templates and auto-generated test quizzes are really interesting. It has quite the catalog of stuff that's already been made by other instructors. You can share and collaborate with them. It's got all subject areas that you can think of. I've looked through the catalog. We'll take a look later when we create one ourselves. But it's got quite the user base right now. So what can you do with it? You can upload your quizzes. So if you already have a quiz that you want to use, you can upload it via Excel, Google Spreadsheet, Word, Google Doc, or you can create it all from scratch. It's pretty easy to use. It's plug and play. BYOD, students can bring their own devices in the classroom. I know they love to be on their phones, so this is a great way for them to interact with the classroom while also being on it. It's synchronous and asynchronous, so you can either assign a presentation to be played live like this one right now, or you can assign it to a student via their EKU email and have them complete it at their own time. So go at their own pace, and it can even be timed if it's a test or something like that. And it also has data tracking. So you can go down the list and it will show you what questions they missed, their overall grade on the subject, and the overall class data. You can track through this as well. And also just to show how it works, in this presentation itself, I had an interactive web page plugged in. So this is the Fictal homepage, of course, but this is all built within the presentation itself. So as I'm scrolling along, I can click on each page and load each thing here. So just an interesting little thing that's included in the free version. You can add interactive web pages to your presentation. Of course, I can copy the link and share that in the chat too. So what are the limitations? With any free software, there's always going to be limitations. But the reason why I chose Quizizz over most of the other ones is because it's actually pretty generous with these limitations. So there are no limits on how many slides you add to your presentation. There's no limits on what questions you have or how many you add. The only limits are you can only have 100 students per activity or assignment, which I think is more than fair for most of our classes. And you can only have certain types of questions. So I'll show you those later, but it's very simple. It's like any kind of open response, multiple choice questions you can do. Adding like interactive video questions is where the premium license comes in, but it's not something you're going to miss, put it that way. So let's have a live demo. So if you have your own phone, if you want to follow along, we're going to do everyone's favorite thing, trivia questions. So I put together a real brief trivia session. So here's how it looks on the Quizizz side. So I have my library here. Let me copy and paste this link in the chat just in case you want to have that for later. So I have my two presentations I created. This is the presentation that we just went through. Then I also have the trivia one right down here. So click on that. I can see that I have all my questions down here. I can assign this as homework, so I can assign this to anybody in the class, or I can just create a live session. So there's two different options here. I can do a classic way where the students progress at their own pace. So I would give you the link to the quiz and you can go at it at your own pace, but we want to do instructor pace. We want to all do this together. We'll have a fun little competition. It has a few accessibility options here at the start too. You can do a name factory. So if you did not want students to put their actual names, you can have them create just fun random generated names. We'll do that today. We'll get a timer and a countdown. So if you activate the timer, if the students answer the question on the trivia faster, they will get more points. So I'll turn that off for now, and we'll have a leaderboard. And shuffle the answer options. Okay, so let's continue. So if you have a device, you can do this on your laptop, you can do it on your phone, you can do whatever. If you just go to, I'll type this in the chat just in case you want to follow in, joinmyquiz.com and enter that code 194246. I'll give everyone just a minute to join in there. And it also gives me a direct link here. I just posted that into the chat. If you click on that, it'll just automatically add you into there. Got Jackfruit, Jackson, Nutty Mowgli. I'm sure most of these are references, but seem to be food related for the most part. Okay, it looks like everyone's in, so we'll go ahead and start the session. All right, so what is the only flying mammal? And I don't think I have my audio sharing on. Let me turn that on so you can hear the dramatic Jeopardy music along with this. All right, this is the leaderboard. All right, the correct answer was the bat. I can do the full question view so we can take time to go over this in the class. Like, okay, everyone, what did you choose? I can do a chart view, I can do the participant view and see what each individual person did. So let's go on to the next question. So what is this up-close object? Kind of hard to see. Let's see if you can guess which one that is. It's like current leaderboard. Got Jackfruit, Draxon in the lead. Okay. That is a chocolate bar. Really nasty and disgusting up close. A thermometer is used to measure what? So all these questions here are all auto-generated by the Quizizz platform when I just gave it the prompt of fun trivia and it did the rest. So it looks like everyone got this one. How thirsty you are is not the answer there. All right, another up close object. Is it a soda, honey, flytrap, or soap? Check the leaderboard. A little bit of a shakeup. That is honey. A fun one for you. And Dr. Seuss, who asked you, do you like green eggs and ham? Let's see who all knows their Dr. Seuss lore. That is Sam I Am, of course. So another close-up object. Is this a rubber eraser, pudding, wax, or Swiss cheese? Ooh, we got a three-way tie for first right now. That is Swiss cheese. All right. This one is pretty prominent in my childhood. Milk helps strengthen your... And of course, that answer is bones. Another easy one. All right. What are the next three letters in the sequence? Should be easy for musically inclined people. Still with a three-way tie. Yep, BCA. Fix the sentence, I throwed the ball at the target. So with three-way tie, I threw, I throated the ball. Which candy has the slogan "melts in your mouth, not in your hand"? Is that Twix, Reese's, Skittles, or M&M's? I had not heard this one. The answer is M&M's. Everyone got that one. And another close-up object. Is this a build-a-block, paint, carrot, or flower? It's very pretty. I know. And finally, how many pennies equal $1 for our last tiebreaker question? Not a very hard quiz, but I told it to do it kindergarten level. So. Everyone's a winner today. So a 100, of course, pennies. But yeah, so you can see how it's an interactive way for you to engage on your phone. You can assign homework at the end, gives you a recap of who all got first, second, and third. Looks like it elected to split the tie there. So if we did a timer, that would help split that tie as well, see who answered quicker. And now it gives us a summary at the bottom too. You don't have to share this with your students, of course, but this is all, you can email all the parents. So there you go. You can share the time taken for each question. All this data down here, you can, of course, send out to each individual student or to their parents, or collect that own data for your own purposes. So, and it also gives you the overall class accuracy. So we had an 88% score on that test. So not bad at all. Does anyone have any questions so far? I think next we'll go through and I'll show you how to create one of those like I just did.
So the individual asynchronous stuff,
Mhm.
they each get customized links or something?
Yeah, so let's try that out. So if I go back to that fun trivia question right here and I assign it as homework, it gives me a few options. Anytime you see this yellow lightning bolt, that just means it's a premium feature. So that's stuff that's locked behind. So it looks like if you want an actual start time and a deadline, that is locked behind the premium. But if you do just want to send this out to them to complete as like a Google form or something on their own time, you can just hit assign, and that will give you this copy and paste link. And I'll just put that in the chat if you want to see what that looks like. So if I click on that link to follow it, it's asking me to put my name in here. Gives me a few accessibility options. I can disable, turn off memes, music, sound effects if I don't want any of that. I can have it read the text to me out loud. And I can hit start, and I can go at my own pace from then. So if you did not have a class that met synchronously, you could always do that as an option as well.
That could be a fun knowledge check for asynchronous.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not that it has any value, you know, like just 5 questions of, after a module, which are the key ideas. That could be kind of fun.
Yeah, and you're free to customize it and have fun with it. You can make it more goofy. Let's just go through in here and create one. So it gives you 2 different options when you hit create. You can do a quiz, which is what we did with the live trivia, and then you can do a lesson, which is what I did with the PowerPoint presentation. So in addition to that PowerPoint presentation that I was doing, I also had the option to add in questions intermittently in between slides. I didn't want to do that because it take the time to have everyone sign in that way, but that is a way you could go along with your lecture to add engagement that way as well.
Cool.
And of course, if you have Google Slides or Forms, you can import it and it will automatically generate what you've already created, and you can just customize it from there too. So let's hit quiz. So right at the start, teleport from the Quizizz library. So if you click at the top here, this is what I did for the trivia. All you have to do is just type in anything. Let's do dogs and cats. And it will give me everything that's any public quizzes that's already created from the community. So maybe let's do psychology. So here's a kindergarten through 12th grade psychology, perspective psychology quiz. If I just click on that, I can just take it, steal it right from here, or I can customize it and add to it or tweak the answers. And I can also just preview what the questions are. So here's the multiple choice. The red means those are incorrect answers, and the green means that is a correct answer. So just going through here. So I can take
Brad,
and
have these people opted to make these like community resources, or is it just built in? Okay.
Yeah, it is. Whenever you create it, you have the option to say, do I want mine public or do I want mine private? And that's all that does. And you can also see it's kind of a competition, not really a competition, but it does keep track of how many people have clicked and viewed your quiz. So you can get some bragging rights of saying, hey, I got 1,000 people have used my quiz in their class. So you can also add it to your favorites and libraries there, of course. And it gives you this 18 Qs is just how many questions are in it. And it gives the subject area, the creator is right, that person below, and the grade level. So like here's the intro to psychology. So if you're ever curious and want to add anything to your own class, you can just type in the subject or the title, and there might be something already created for you to draft in. But looking down the actual list of things you can add, we can add multiple choice, fill in the blank, and open-ended questions, a draw, a poll, and a slide. So all the rest are, of course, match, reorder, drop down, drag and drop. Those are all locked behind the premium, which I think is more than fair considering the other, because all the other platforms I've used have had limitations. Like you only have like Mentimeter had like 6 questions you could use per presentation, so you had to keep reusing presentations. For having unlimited and up to 100 students and participants per your presentation, that's pretty nice. So let's just create a new question. Let's do a multiple choice. So right from the start, what does EKU stand for? EKU stands for Eastern Kentucky University. Everyone knows us. Eeyore can't ugly cry. I don't know. There we go. There's another one. And I can say like, I don't want a fourth question there and just delete that one. So we already have our first question in our slideshow. I can add a picture to it up at the top. If I click on this image button, I can either click this file in the middle to upload something from my downloads on my files on my computer, or I can search their, let's see, laughing cat. So if I just wanted to add this, I can just insert that image and you get, looks like you get 10 free of those a day. All this does is just take a few points of the process out for you so you don't have to Google it and save it. And it's all a part of their royalty-free library as well. I can also add pictures to each individual question if that's appropriate or needed. And I can also add answer explanations. So if you want to add some feedback to the answers or the reason why that's the correct answer, you can add some additional, like if you had a premium, you can do an audio recording and video, but you can add a picture to that, or you can just type in. So that looks good. We need a correct answer now. So that's the correct answer. I'll mark that one and now I can hit save. And we got our one question quiz already. So also here, down there at the bottom, once we create the question, we can set a time limit on it. So if that's way too long for that question, I could say I just want 5 seconds. They got 5 seconds to answer this and they get 1 point. Or I can go all the way to 15 minutes. So if it's a longer equation or math equation, I can give them some more time. I can customize the point values all the way up to 20. And I can also duplicate it. So if I wanted the same question but slightly different answers, I could do that as well. And let's create a new question. Let's do a draw. So the drawing is whenever you give them on their device, like draw a house. And I can either give them a picture as a template to draw on top of, or I can just say, I want you to create a blank draw response. So I can try it out here. I'll do my horrible house drawing. You can do this either on your phone or your computer, of course. Do a little chimney, a little door, and a circular window. Don't have many of those anymore. There you go. So there will be my house that I could submit. So open response questions like those, you notice that the rest, like the multiple questions and all that, that's automatically graded because there's a correct answer for them. But for those open response type questions that don't necessarily have a correct answer, this high order thinking side, those you'll have to manually go in and grade yourself, just FYI. And of course, if you just had a poll that you wanted to do for the class, this could be an easy way of dropping in a fun interactive poll. So I could do a, do you like waffles or pancakes? I saw that question on the front board of the library earlier. Waffles, pancakes, neither, or both. So there we got our first poll response. All right, do we have any questions so far? And we're getting close to time. And once I create these quiz too, I can also customize if I wanted to share this with other people, similar to like Google Docs and all that. I can have collaborators to help me create these questions. Yes, it's got OER. That's awesome. And it is a lot easier than Menti. I do like it a lot more. Let's see. So I can change it from kindergarten. I can change the grade level. We can go to professional development. So university 12. I can change the subject area. And this is only for your purposes. It doesn't change the actual content of it at all. And I want to go back and show you one more thing. I'm going to delete this quiz. So if I go to quiz and create, I can change only lessons, community, and let's just type in OER, see what pops up. Open-ended response, not the OER we're looking for. Let's change the grade level to university and professional development. There you go, open educational resources. So there you got a 15-question quiz I can already take and adapt from here. Title the quiz, change the settings. Of course, it's got the accessibility options where it can read to you. So yeah, I've been having fun playing around with Quizizz. It's a pretty nice way as a icebreaker, beginning of a class or into the class quiz. Good for polling, open responses. And on the other side, you have the lessons. So you could import your slides from an existing PowerPoint presentation into here. No real added benefit to that other than that you can add questions in between your PowerPoint slides. You can also show the website link that I demonstrated earlier. Just type in the URL. And you can add an interactive web page into your PowerPoint there. It's kind of like Canva too, where it has some graphic design things you can add. I can add pointers.
That's cool, because then you don't have to like link out when you're in the middle of a presentation and like lose your place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if it's asynchronous, they automatically have it. You don't have to wait for them, which most of the times, I would say 9 times out of 10, they won't click it on it anyway. But to force it into the slide itself is a pretty handy tool. Stop sharing my screen. So what are your thoughts on Quizizz? Think everyone's going to use it today?
I think it looks really neat, and I'd like to. Unfortunately have some work to do over the spring break, and so maybe I'll play around with it. I don't know. It looks like the kind of stuff I like to use, where it's like, you know, kind of low stakes quizzing, but just and I like the whole interactive thing. I was just telling somebody this morning that I like to have my students do interactive work together. I don't know if this plays into that, like where they could do collaborative work on one of these lessons or the quiz or something. You know, I'm not sure if I can play around and get something like that from the lessons or not.
Yeah.
But it looks
speaking of that too, like students could also use this as part of an assignment themselves. They could create something using this platform.
Right. That's kind of what I was thinking. If they had to create their own little lesson, right? And using because I like the fact that you can have those shapes in there, you know, so, you know, like flow charts or visual organizers, something, you know, something like that, that's how I, you know, want I try to teach that way, because I want my to-be teachers to teach that way, and finding software that allows that to happen, that doesn't end up costing money, you know, is tough.
Navigating the freemium landscape is very dangerous. I've been on the search for a long time to find stuff that makes sense.
Okay.
So, like, you can look through the templates here.
Yeah, this is really cool though. Thank you.
Awesome. I'm glad it was helpful for y'all. If you ever have any questions of it, you ever want to test it out, please reach out to me and let me know.
Thank you. Yeah, I just might do that.
All right. I'll stop the recording.